and this is Speech Online 102, and today I will be discussing, for my persuasive speech, how the media has changed the perspective of beauty, relationships, and family. So, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. In the last 10 years, the media has changed our perception of the way we look at not just the world around us, but also at how we look at ourselves. So the media in the last 50 years has changed from for the media to make more money than most high-paid doctors. Like an orthopedic surgeon makes $421,000 a year, while Taylor Swift's network makes $170 million a year. So I was aware of how the media has really controlled how the society is working, how industries are changing, how people are marketing more on the internet. News is being run on the internet more than ever before. And I had no idea until I did more research and found that it really is changing everything about our world. So today we will examine how the media has changed how we perceive beauty, how it's perceived to have the perfect relationship and the perfect family. So first, the media has changed what beautiful looks like. So in the early years, in about the 1800s, the ideal standard of beauty was to have long, soft hair, curves, because having curves meant that you were wealthy, that you ate very well, and that you could produce children. And so that was the ideal beauty for the early 1800s. Now, the 1920s, the flapper stage, women started to show curves, but only the hips and the bust, more curvier look, coming out of style, and they started cutting their hair to seem more desirable to men, and their dresses were shorter. Then, in the 60s, came more of a very natural look. The hair was more natural, deep tans were really in. Some didn't even wear clothes, but still curves were showing. And then in this culture, as you can see by Nicki Minaj, it's more thin, a lot more curves, big lips, thick eyebrows, just very, very photoshopped and kind of plastic looking. So, in this day and age, the media, how beauty has been perceived is people look at commercials and television and magazines and look at people like Kim Kardashian or Nicki Minaj and see that what their goal is, when in reality, most of beauty in magazines and commercials are, for the most part, photoshopped. So in reality, it's not even real what they're looking at, but girls or boys still see it as, this is a goal, what I need to look like, since they can look like that, and they forget about it. So in articles in Relevant Magazine on relationships, now that we're talking about how it's changed relationships, studies have shown that the average American takes about 3,500 to 5,000 marketing messages a day and spends about 41 hours per week using technology such as cell phones, TV, video games, music, and internet. So today's relationship, the center is love. So back in the olden days, relationships were formed by arranged marriages, usually for a political standpoint to unite countries or for wealth. But today, the center is love. Now, as you can see on the projection, a lot of people perceive love as an unrealistic love rather than a healthy, realistic love. So most couples look to Instagram accounts or Facebook posts of families or the movies like The Notebook or Dear John and look at this and say, oh, this is what love should really look like. Why doesn't my love look like these movies or these Instagram accounts that you see all the time, when in reality it is very unrealistic? And people are now mixing up what is real and what is not. So next is the most used dating website. People now don't even go on dates anymore to meet people, is Tinder. So again, Tinder is the most used dating site or dating app in the world right now. And today, people use Tinder to instead of meeting someone, and people judge by solely their pictures and their bios rather than meeting them in person. And also, people are now, because of Tinder, get catfished because they're too terrified of what they look like from the inside rather than without. So now that we see the media has changed beauty and relationships, how has the media changed what family has looked like? Why? How does it change our perspective of what a perfect family is? So on the screen you see the classic TV show Leave It to Beaver, and then on the other side you see Keeping With Kardashian. So first the media really focused on a perfect family, picket fence, perfect house, dealing with family-related issues. Now it's looking at the Kardashians and the drama of it rather than a good story. And people look at it and say, oh, why doesn't my family look like the Kardashians, all perfect, and their makeup team and everything? So that's how media has changed the perception of what family now is supposed to look like, or what the ideal family is. Another thing that media has done to families is that parents are now watching their children, learning more about their children through media than they are talking to each other. Parents are now monitoring everything that they do. They check their phones regularly, their Facebook accounts, their Instagram accounts. The parents even know more about their friends this way, their children's friends this way, or their friends this way, or their spouse more of what he views rather than what just talking to them regularly on a regular basis. So media has definitely changed how family is working now. So in conclusion, we had talked about how the media changes family, relationships, and beauty. And I hope that people start to understand that it's better to be yourself. And again, quoting the Emerson quote, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Thank you.